RAMCCALL here. So I just want to give a brief touch point on the performance of one of my blog websites for the month of November of 2021. And for those of you that are new, I'm documenting this journey to show, frankly, the power of the blog income model and how that can help your business. And so really the whole purpose of this channel is to not only document the progression of this particular blog, but the entire business of creating blogs, how to do it, and how much money you can make passively, frankly. So let's get into it. And as always, I'm going to be starting off all these videos to give credence to all of the inspirational channels and people and influencers that have, kind of inspired me to not only create this channel, but to create, blog websites to generate passive income. So anything I can do to give back to them and the community at large, I'm going to do it. Yeah, so Passive Income Geek, his name's Morton. He's a fantastic guy, and you can really tell he's passionate about, this particular business model and, actually creating really good content. I know like he even goes out of his way to buy books himself and then, creates websites about various topics and actually understands the topic and will really just go out of his way to produce the greatest possible content you can make. So he's a great guy, and you should check out his channel and maybe even buy his course. Below average blogger, this guy is cool. I'm always refreshing my YouTube subscription pages to kind of see his little journey of his one of his blog websites, and he actually has a portfolio now of about 5 to 10 of them, and he's had a lot of success so far this past year. Just starting out. So below average blogger, you should check him out. Passive Income Unlock. These two guys are really cool. They have monthly revenue, I think around $40,000 to $50,000. They have a portfolio of about like 4 to 5 or maybe even like 6 sites now. And much like Passive Income Geek and Below Average Blogger, they're real focused on producing amazing quality content, um, and they've been pretty successful with it. Growth Scatter, as always, the guy's insane, but just like the other 3 channels on here, I'm always trying to, refresh my YouTube subscription, see when he's going to come out with a new video, and, really interesting case study. He's built up a massive website really within the past like 8 or 9 months. So within the last year, certainly, he's been able to build that up to over like $20,000 to $30,000 a month off of just one website by front loading a lot of the content. And that was actually the inspiration for this little journey that I'm developing right now. And um, yeah, so I wanted to kind of give a brief touch point on the performance of the website for the month of November. And as you can see, traffic has been, fairly steady. During the weekdays specifically, the traffic seems to, sort of peak out during the 5 days of the working week. And then on the weekends, it starts to decline somewhat. But overall, the trend on a daily basis seems to be fairly consistent. Starting to increase daily to around the 200 page view mark, which is pretty, promising. And as of the month of November for 2021, you can see that the page view count is right at above 4,000 page views. So that's up about 218%, I think, from the previous month of October. And that's really good to see. Average time on page is, 2 minutes. I'd say that's pretty good. I'd say anything probably more than a minute, frankly, is what you should be aiming for. If it was less than a minute, then I'd probably be a little bit concerned, but I'd say an average time of 2 minutes for over 4,000 page views is pretty good. And as far as the overall traffic goes, I started the website, I would say middle of June of 2021, and of course the traffic you see in July, the little spikes right there, those are all me. I was just, constantly going to the website, playing around with it, throwing up some, content here and there. But I didn't really start front loading a lot of the content until October. And I published about 41, I think, articles by the time September hit. And then in the month of October, early October, I started front loading about 100 articles or so. And right now it's at about 216 articles with the hopes of having around 316 articles by the end of December. And as you can see, the traffic is starting to increase substantially. And the dips you see in the valleys, I would assume are on the weekends when everyone is off doing their own thing. Now, as far as like the traffic distribution and the location, there's two things I wanted to cover. The page view spread, meaning the page view count of each of the articles, and then the location. So regarding the page view and traffic distribution, one of the most encouraging things about this little website case study is that the traffic spread is somewhat distributed amongst all of the page views. So what does that mean? That means that not like one article takes the majority of the traffic. I know there's maybe like one or two articles at the top that are getting like probably 10 to 15% of the traffic, but as you can see, a lot of the traffic is coming from only like 1 to 2% of each article. So that's good because if you get hit by like a Google update or something, then like you have a lot more diversity, and you can kind of hedge yourself against one article just carrying you and either making or breaking your entire website. The only thing that's concerning me though about the website itself is the topics that I happen to be covering right now and the traffic and where it's located. So I know that like for the top ad networks like AdThrive and Mediavine, they want primarily US traffic, and as it stands from the entire inception of the website so far, only about 42% of the traffic is actually coming from the US. So, um, that's something to consider for starting your own websites. Like you want to be able to try and cover topics that a lot of US people will be interested in and going to more so than anywhere else in the world. So, I'm taking a different approach, and I'll be going to that in just one moment, and have to sort of identify these topics that are, primarily based or searched upon in the US. So, as far as the Google Search Console performance, it's up quite a bit as well. You can see the hockey stick growth is already starting to form, which is pretty exciting. And we've hit about 86,000 total impressions with about 1,500 clicks. Click-through rate still is not that optimal, but you know, what can you do? Average position is going down, which is excellent to see as well. And as far as the month-over-month performance from November to uh, October, you can see that the clicks have skyrocketed as well as the impressions. The average click-through rate as well has gone up quite a bit. So that means as people start searching for the terms or the articles and whatnot, the uh, the click-through rate, meaning like the people that are searching those terms, you have a higher chance of them clicking on your article as opposed to other articles. So I'm playing around with different types of like title ways of presenting the titles and stuff, and hopefully that'll entice the user to sort of click on my article as opposed to other people's article. And yeah, as you can see, the average position as well is going down, which is what you want. So that means your traffic or your blog posts, if you will, and the titles are appearing higher and higher in the search results. So that's really cool to see as well. Now, as always, the tools that I use, there's really, I mean, maybe like a handful of tools, frankly. Keyword Chef, if you don't know what that is, check it out. I know Passive Income Geek has a brief overview of that. I think Below Average Blogger has an overview of that as well. But I think word is starting to get out amongst those channels and some others that I've been seeing. And frankly, Keyword Chef is what I use primarily to dive a little bit deeper into the topics that I have identified, and then finding those underserved topics, finding that people also ask um, sort of related topics about those overall topics, and then covering those promptly. And something that I wanted to cover too today is the Google Trends. So, what is Google Trends? So Google has this like really cool tool that you can use. It's completely free and it gives you like, frankly, real-time data, and you can sort of search around and play with the topics or whatever kind of search phrase you want. And just as an example, yoga mats. I use this as an example in my other video. Let's say you want to learn more about yoga mats, or maybe you're considering that for your website. Well, you can filter it by worldwide searches, United States searches, and then you can also search the overall time frame that people are searching for that particular topic. And what I like to do is get a holistic view, so I filter it by worldwide, and then I also filter the time frame that people have been searching that since the inception of Google back in 2004, basically. And that kind of gives you an indication as to whether or not the topic is quote unquote evergreen, meaning will this topic ever, lose its relevance, or will it always be searched by people? And that's also something to consider as well as you start to build your websites, because you don't want to start a topic about something that is slowly declining in interest over time, because if you do that, then your page view count won't be that consistent. So yoga mats, as you can see, since 2004 to basically now 2021, so almost 20 years, past 20 years, people have been consistently searching for yoga mats, and that's a pretty good sign. Now, something that I touched upon a little bit earlier about the traffic spread and where it's located. Uh, this is something you probably want to at least consider as you start to build your websites, because you want to make sure, like, at the end of the day, if you're building a website to generate passive income, if you have consistent search performance as noted above, that's promising. But you also want to make sure that the topics or the search queries about that topic, like yoga mats, are being generated from Anglo-speaking countries like the US, Canada, Europe, whatnot, but primarily from the US, because I'm under the impression that that's what's going to make or break your website in terms of the emission into these premium ad networks like Mediavine or AdThrive and stuff like that. So that's something to consider as well. I'm not saying that you shouldn't cover yoga mats, but as you can see, it's only about it's ranking probably fifth right here in terms of the number of people or the location of people that are searching for yoga mats. And one more little technique I use to sort of dive a little bit deeper and to find the related topics about yoga mats is to um, scroll down, find the related queries, filter it by the top queries for yoga mats, and then you can see, okay, people are searching mats, yoga mats. What are the best yoga mats? Manduka, whatever that is. Uh, then what you want to do is say, okay, yoga mat, excellent. Then you can even click on that, find the traffic spread over time, find the locations for yoga mats, and then you could put that into keyword chef, put an asterisk after it, see what sort of underserved topics there are, and then promptly start knocking those out. And that's really all it takes to find, underserved topics, find consistent search performance topics, and then find exactly where they're being searched from. And again, taking this one step forward, so going back to the methods used, you want to find underserved topics, and basically anything that has a forum post in the front page of Google, frankly, is really what an underserved topic is, because when you think about it, when Google tries to find an article about a particular topic, like yoga mats in this example, if it were to start generating, like a lot of forum posts that, have that topic in mind, but there's no one that has actually taken the time, sat down, taken the time, and has actually written an article about yoga mats, or, in this case, what is the best thickness for a yoga mat? If no one has written about that, but there's a lot of forum posts about it, then that is indicative of an underserved topic that you should write about. So you can include into your article, or you can even create entire articles based off of each of these people also ask, uh, you know, results that pop up, as well as the Google autocomplete. So as far as the website stats for the month of November, I added over 100 articles since my last video, I believe, and the page view count, as suspected, has gone up, quite a bit. As you can see, in the month of September, total article count was around 41. Then in October, it was around 113, and then now it's sitting at about 216. Page views have gone up quite a bit, starting from around only 200 a month to 1334 a month, and now it's 4281 a month. And as far as revenue goes, so my accountant told me that I have to at least try to put or generate some kind of revenue on these little websites I have to sort of justify all the expenses and whatnot, um, to sort of justify not only the expenses, the revenue and everything, but to sort of validate this business model as a whole. So what I did was just put Google AdSense on this thing, and I've been able to achieve about 13 bucks. So that's not bad for only about 2 weeks, because I put it on there about 2 weeks ago, right after the first video. And I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to generate at least some kind of revenue. Everything I make is going to go back into the business. So as far as hiring and outsourcing writers and whatnot, I'm definitely going to be putting 100% of this back into content, because that's what's going to move the needle. And if things, continue in this trajectory, then these are some estimates or goals that I have in mind for the end of December. Fingers crossed, for this website. So by the end of the year, basically, I want to have about 316 articles published on the website, as well as about 7,000 page views. And if I can hit that, then I'd be pretty happy. If I can hit more than that, I'd be even happier. As far as how much you get paid per thousand impressions or visitors on the website, I just went ahead and listed the RPM of about $7, because that's what Google AdSense has on there, and that's not really sacrosanct or anything. Like, it's not going to be like that all the time, but I just wanted to kind of put that on there because that's what Google AdSense is telling me. It's probably going to go down or up. Who knows? I don't really care. Main thing I'm worried about for this website is just putting out content, because volume matters, for this type of business. And the faster you can put out content, albeit good quality content, the faster you'll see results, whether good or bad. So by the end of the year, I want to have 316 articles, 7,000 page views, and if I can hit about 50 bucks a month from the website, I'll say, I'll be pretty happy. But yep, I believe that's it. So I just wanted to give you guys a brief update. If there's anything else you guys want me to cover, I'd be more than happy to do that. And yeah, catch you guys later.